Sir, I'd like to address this question to both General Brawner and to Colonel Ramonte. Kasi sir, the people who are being charged, both administratively and criminally, Brigadier General Durante, Colonel Licyayo, and so on down the line, down to the gunmen who are also apparently active duty personnel. I know these are charges pa lang, and they still have to be proven, but so far it does seem really damning na you have people who apparently, at least on the surface, look like they committed a crime not for the furtherance of any mission, like for example counterinsurgency or against the rebellion or whatever, but for personal motives. In other words, what I'm saying is nagmumukhang, at least on the surface, nagmumukhang ipinag-utos ng isang mataas down the line ang isang mission na criminal in nature at very, very personal. This does sound like a breakdown in the chain of command, a breakdown in the discipline in the armed forces. It really doesn't look very good, sir. How does the armed forces look at this? I know it's still innocent until proven guilty, pero when you look at all these elements falling into place, how does it look to you?
Well, Sir Ed, we believe that this is an isolated case, really, because hindi po ito yung sinumpaan namin when we took our oath as members of the armed forces. In fact, we said that we are not going to follow illegal orders. No? Isa po yun sa mga phrases dun sa ating oath. So yun nangyari po, if proven that the gunman or the gunman and the other elements in the case, in the murder case, for instance, are proven that they followed an illegal order from their commanders, then they are equally liable. And sa amin po, we do not tolerate this wrongdoings ng ating mga personnel. That is why when I learned about this, that these two officers were being implicated in the case, I immediately ordered the relief of the brigade commander and the deputy brigade commander so that we could give way to a thorough and impartial investigation. Kaya po, inutusan ko sila to come to the headquarters of the Army right away so that we could get custody of them and restrict them to their quarters.
Sir, I have a follow-up to that, if you don't mind. I understand restriction to quarters lang yan. That is not equivalent at all to imprisonment or any other restriction maliban dun sa hindi kalalabas ng bahay. So in other words, they have access to, I suppose, tell me lang if I'm getting this right or wrong, they have access to cell phones, telecoms, internet, and they can receive visitors. Ganun ba? In other words, they're not in jail.
They are not in jail. Yes, because wala pa naman pong let's say warrant of arrest from the criminal courts or the civilian courts. On our case, sa armed forces naman, we are still in the process of finalizing the investigation, and then later on, once the charges have been reviewed by the judge advocate and it comes to me, and then I approve the commencement of the hearings by the General Court Martial, then that's the time that we can already commit them to a facility.
I understand,
In
sir.
the meantime,
sir, last
they
question, sir,
roam
if
free.
I may.
I mean, can they? I mean, they're treated as well, free men. I mean, they can. Is that how it? Kumbaga walang. Kasi I mean, in companies there's preventive suspension, no. But effectively, wala silang magagawa within the confines of the company. In your case, what would be the equivalent of this? I mean, because they're not in prison, but they're roaming free, and they can do whatever they want to do.
Well, they are not really. But they are not really roaming free because, as we mentioned, they're restricted in their quarters, and we have
quarters. Okay.
Yes, and we have military police personnel guarding them in their quarters.
So it's an equivalent of a jail in a way.
Not a jail, but they are
Yes.
restricted from moving around freely.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But
From-
sir, that's my concern nga, sir. I mean, and I suppose it's a legitimate concern by other people. They have the ability to communicate with other people in the meantime. Maliban dun sa hindi sila pwedeng lumabas ng bahay, pero they can go online, they can call up people. I suppose they can receive visitors. Aren't you concerned that they can still influence the people who were underneath them? I mean, you're talking about a general and a colonel, deputy brigade commander and a former PSG commander who may be able to, I'm not saying that they are, but who may be able to influence people pa rin, di ba? Wouldn't that be a concern?
Yes, that's part of the concern, Sir Ed. That's why we physically brought them here. But of course, we cannot also legally restrict them when it comes to communicating with other people. Hindi po yun parte ng ating restriction. But of course, doon po sa mga ibang involved, no, na mga personnel ng Philippine Army, they are detached from the officers physically.